Hello there, friends! We continue to keep up with the news about Source 2. What do the pro players have to say about this? What kind of news we got in these few days? And of course, we will not forget to take a look at whatever is going on at the ESL Pro League. It seems that because of all this hype around Source 2, everyone has completely forgotten that we still have a championship in full swing, and also qualifiers for the Blast, and so on. I've collected the most interesting things for you. Let's get straight to it. So, at first, as always, let me guide you through a big news section about Csgo on Source 2. There were no more obvious huge leaks, but slowly every little piece of that puzzle begins to come together. Many expect Valve to make matchmaking of 128 Tickrate. That was even mentioned in Richard Lewis's long article. However, now data miners are finding more and more details of how it will actually work. As Gabe Follower says, now the system will be changed from Tickrate to Tickless and sub-tick. That is, before that, the server collected the information from all the players and only then compared results. Because of this, it might have seemed to you that you had killed a person, but in fact, the server didn't count your shot at all. Now the game will wait for the result from the server in the first place, and only after that it will continue to work. Honestly, personally, I didn't understand anything at all, and I'm not very good at those things in general, but then knowledgeable people came to the rescue and described it all in detail. For example, Ubik did it. He is a former pro player and now currently a lot of people play on his servers. I assume that they will indeed switch, relatively speaking, to a tickless system, but only for calculating hits. There are no positions as in the middle of a tick for the server with all the consequences for the player. The system will not simply count players' hits on the models that are in the intermediate position on the screen. Lag compensation will begin to take into account an additional variable, namely the time from beginning of a tick at which the player made the shot. Such a virtual tick rate can be virtually unlimited, as long as player's FPS allows it, and the increase in the load on the server will be insignificant, since processing will only take place at the time of shooting. But this, of course, is only my guess. You can just try and guess what the names of the variables say. In general, I think they will add something to better guess the intermediate position of the enemy on the player's screen based on the two neighboring server frames. Yeah, well, my brain couldn't even work properly when I was reading all this, and in general, all these points were clarified due to the update in Dota 2. As always, after changes in some games made by Valve, people can use this information to find out what will happen in other projects. So, in Dota 2, some attentive players have found a mention of the Csgo DLC. That is, Source 2 will most likely be installed simply as DLC, which proves once again that this will not be a new game, it will be just a super major update of the current Csgo. Valve updated Dota the same way. They decided to add the new game on Source 2 as a DLC, and after many months of tests and changes, they completely replaced the previous version. The same thing is happening right now with Csgo. Also, data miners have noticed that some mysterious DLC was added to the game, which in theory can be Csgo on Source 2, just in the beta test. Some pro players or developers, well, or special beta testers may have access to it. In theory, this DLC can be introduced to us at absolutely any time, so we can only wait. The history of Csgo has never seen such a large number of leaks. Plus, there was information about the whole community content. It looks like this update will not affect skins, stickers and so on in any way, so no need to worry. But again, this is just the guesses from data miners. Only Valve knows how it will actually turn out. And now I have some very useful info for you guys. Many of you might still buy games for full price on Steam Market and play CSGO without Prime, meeting cheaters in every match. And I found a solution for you. Zelenka Guru Market. Here you can find certified Steam accounts with purchased games or Prime. It's a huge marketplace, where efficiency and fairness are verified, so you can buy whatever you want with no worries and enjoy. You can trust them. They have reviews, ratings, and even a 12-hour warranty, in case anything happens with your newly acquired account. Regardless if it's EGS, Steam, or any other. The support will answer you ASAP and will return your money if anything happens. There's also a forum where you can participate in games giveaways, discuss any sorts of questions, or simply find like-minded people. You can read reviews, learn people's opinion, and ask which VPN is the best right now. That is, learn anything you want here. Just follow the link in the description and save your own money. Thanks for watching the ad, and let's continue. And finally, while we're still on this topic, Gabe Follower told how this new Tickrate is likely to work. The strings clearly state that the system is only related to player movement, so even if developers will add some sort of variable Tickrate, it will have no effect on grenade throwing trajectories. Theoretically, developers can activate two systems that work independently of each other. A constant Tickrate value would be used for something important, a smaller or variable Tickrate would be used for less intensive events. Based on the new name, sub-tick may mean that the server will start predicting the player's position if the shot from the weapon happened between ticks, rather than giving preference to the past or the future ones, instead of giving preference to the past or the future ones. But again, we're talking about milliseconds here, the vast majority of players won't even notice it. In the end, he added that perhaps these lines of code have nothing to do with CSGO at all, because Valve is working on developing another shooter at the moment. Well, and now let's discuss other news related to Source 2. All this hype has even reached the ESL. We will continue to hold CSGO tournaments until switching to a new version becomes a more rational solution. And of course, the pro players continue to express their opinions, draw people's attention, and everything like that.
Через знакомого нашел доступ к бета-версии Counter-Strike, вот сейчас ее тестирую, мне пока все очень заходит. Смотрите, какое все в полном порядке. И вот самое главное, есть ощущение, что ты в эту игру когда-то играл. А это самое главное.
Simple wrote that the new CS was more fun than Valorant and that he had some extra keys left, while Smuya was generally giving away keys to CSGO Source 2 on his Twitter. But Thorin believes that, in fact, for many pro players this will be a difficult update. If you're someone like Acerato, Manasi, Shiro, Exile or Fame, then the release of CS2 couldn't be worse for you. If it ends up being a different game, you were in the position to become an all-time great in CSGO, and now it could be a new game. Ask Neo how new CS differs. Twists believes that Source 2 will simply improve the graphics. The maps will become as beautiful and realistic as possible. Well, and they will fix all sorts of bugs, grenades and so on. But his teammate, old pal Kerrigan, doesn't want to share anything.
Is everything okay, Finnet? People, everything's fine?
Everything is perfect. I love my life.
Oh. Okay. Is it because you're so excited about Source 2?
I can actually not speak about anything Counter-Strike related.
Oh, you've been to Seattle recently, have you?
In general, the community has dived into discussing Source 2. If Valve has tricked us into believing something's about to happen this time again, it will be very cruel of them. Config won't even sleep at night, waiting for this damn update. But that's not all the Valve-related news. Recently, people decided to go through the game files and found an interesting line. One-time payment for Anubis, $150,000. The same thing was found there, only this time related to Tuscan. That is, it looks like Valve has completely bought the maps into their own hands for that price. Therefore, since we have touched that topic, recently some streamer invited the creator of skins and maps to join him. And he said that if your skin gets into the case, then you can simply get up to $400,000 from it. Again, the price varies depending on the popularity of the case and other factors. Some people can earn much more, but sometimes people also get paid much less. I don't know why you need this information, but why not? And now let's finally talk about reshuffles. G2 has finally decided to conquer the CSGO female stage, signing a composition. This is one super promising squad. Meanwhile, everything is not so rosy in one win. It even seems like we're about to see a scandal, at least that's what it looked like.
Надо было ему ловить кэфом. Люминар выигрывает. Наверное, Люминар выиграет все-таки на 3. Никому пока не говорю, не пиши. Но мы будем убирать дека. Чё?
Зачем ты это читаешь?
Ну, клип тебе, блядь, ёпта, это все прочитали, тут все ржут уже.
Then Bumich also unfriended Deco. However, he returned him later, and in general, after all, this turned out to be a big fake. Overdrive decided to add a little spice to one win, but somehow people didn't really buy it. Immediately, Bumich himself shared in an interview why he left the role of in-game leader. I understood that after an 8-month break, it would be very difficult to return to the role of captain from the point of view of an individual plan, because I would have to work as an in-game leader. That is why it will be easier for me to come back first as a player and then as a second captain to help build the game or call sometimes in important moments. I worked very hard at the bootcamp and trained individually because of the new role. Now I am more like a second caller. Well, let's see how Bumich will cope with this role at the RMR. So far, the team is only building up their game. The new one-win squad played 14 matches and won 10 of them. That's not a bad stat, but it's not a tier 1 level. The very same Bumich fails to have at least 1 KD so far. Everything seems to be going well for him, but recently, for example, they lost with a score of 16-3 against Aurora, where Bumich managed to make only 2 frags and ended up with a rating of 0.26. Such performances spoil all statistics. Do you think they will be able to get into the major? Or is the bar set too high? Write in the comments below. And finally, a small opinion from Overdrive on Inters. Inters doesn't want to go anywhere. He received offers. The player is sitting in a warm, cozy bath on a good contract with a good salary. Why the hell should he go somewhere? Firstly, that would mean cutting his wages in 3. Secondly, why would he need to start everything from scratch? Well, let's hope that Inters will be back soon. And by the way, ever since he was kicked, his fan base grew drastically. Well, and of course, we are all waiting for Markelov's return. And Edward said that we will get what we want soon.
Маркелова вы скоро все увидите, мне кажется. Должны, по крайней мере. Есть кое-что интересное с Маркеловым. Новости.
On this note, it's time to talk about the ESL Pro League. Group C passes with no surprises and there is not much to talk about here. For example, FaZe versus Rooster. As expected, the meeting ended with a score of 2-0 without a chance. On Inferno, the Australians took exactly 0 rounds in the second half. NAP versus Pain. In fact, it was exactly the same one-sided CS, although you can't say that by the score. The thing is that NAP themselves were happy to give a chance for the Brazilians to have a powerful comeback. On Nuke, they were leading with a score of 12-6, and then in a second they lost their moment at all, so the ending turned out to be very close. On Vertigo, things got even worse. They dominated with a score of 15-9 and then somehow made the score 16-13. Well, so far the team is getting used to config. They have indeed won 2-0, but it's a little bittersweet. Vitality versus Greyhound. I don't even need to say anything right here. You just look at how Jax returned to the tier 1 level.
He's up close, looking for the fight. Has the bomb on his back, needs to find these fights, and he's hitting every single headshot. Oh, make it 4!
That is incredible. It was back and forth.
On Inferno, Zyvo made his opponent tremble in fear. The Frenchman finished the map with stats of 30-8, 2.35 rating 2-0. Well, that guy is a beast. Shiro's main competitor to the top 1. By the way, James said on the stream that if Shiro continues to steamroll everyone like that, he can without a doubt take the first line of the HLTV's top. And honestly, we all willingly believe him. In general, it was the easiest 2-0 win for Vitality in the first match. The sweatiest meeting turned out to be between OG and 0-0 Nation. Both teams had replacements and both played without captains, so we have witnessed quite a powerful battle on the first map. But then they gave the Brazilians a chance to have a comeback before overtime. Fortunately, Dexter and Flames decided to take over everything and finish the first map in their favor. The second map turned out to be a very one-sided game, ending in 16-6. So everything turned out to be exactly as we had expected. On the first day, all the favorites of their meetings won. On the second game day, the matches were quite promising. FaZe versus NIP, Vitality versus OG. But in fact, both of them ended without a single chance of a different outcome. FaZe just destroyed NIP completely. 16-9, 16-3. Moreover, Kerrigan's team won with a score of 12-3 on Ancient for T-side. That's rough. By the way, Alexi B said in an interview that it looks like the replacement of of Hampus with Config is forever. The Dane has signed a long-term contract and Hampus has no plans to return yet. But so far, in any case, NAP's game has to be polished. And Vitality crushed OG, which was unexpectedly easy. Well, that's interesting. Apex in an interview said that they would play just for fun of it, because they didn't have Dupree, so they didn't really care if anything happened. But Jax decided to work hard for the sake of his new team.
It is Vitality that come out on
Well
top.
handled.
Jax. Some call him a stand-in.
And they're not going to get caught at all, so you can't really cover everything. Jax, oh, good catch. Taking down Dex, that is everything you would have wanted. Neo frag. Oh! Spin! It's Nico holding the bomb inside, and he gets blown up.
Nice shot there from Jax. That's one very, very tidy.
Plus, Zyvu is in amazing shape. In the last match he had scored 2.35 rating. Now he calmed down a little and scored 1.71. Apex was even laughing because it was way too easy for them to play.
Don't go anywhere.
Well, and in order to finally destroy his rivals, Zyvu won clutch against Flames in a purely mocking manner. It's like he's just simply playing the matchmaking with no respect for his opponents at all.
And Flames duking it out. This is getting a little too rich for my blood. What are you supposed to do now? He's got him to half. Flames has played this clinically, and now expecting respect, Zywu gives him the opposite. Fakes the speed, cancels the plant. Oh my god! 26 HP. Runs him down and finishes the job. That had so many layers to it.
Cut the long story short, so far in Group C there were no surprises at all. The favorites destroyed the outsiders and rushed to the playoffs. Vitality and FaZe have already passed through. I hope there will be more interesting CS in the next few days. Friends, that was all the news for today that I wanted to tell you about. Write what you think about today's news release, and how do you like Group C at the ESL Pro League? Well, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything CSGO related, and I don't say goodbye for a long time. See you soon.